Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to label our page, key terms to know, page 19. And here we have some terms that we need to understand in order to better understand our unit. So you're going to go ahead and write these words down. And you can see that I've put bubbles around them and colored them in. And I've done that for a couple of reasons. Number one, it makes our page really nice and attractive. It lets our brain separate these terms so that when we go back to look at this page, we're going to read them individually, and we're more likely to come back and read something that's nice and colorful than something that's sloppy and dull. So I would recommend getting some colored pencils, and doing that on your own time, just to make your page look nice. It also has the added benefit of allowing you to color code your work, and I'll explain that in a few minutes. The first term that we want to look at is justice. So go ahead and write down the word justice. Go ahead and put any box or cloud or whatever you want around it. And justice is the quality of being fair and reasonable. Go ahead and record that definition. The second one is injustice. Okay? Injustice is a lack of fairness or justice. The next one is sympathy. Sympathy is feelings of pity or sorrow for someone else's misfortune. The next one is empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. And the last one is social justice. This is justice in terms of the distribution of wealth, opportunities, and privileges within a society. Okay, go ahead, pause, write that last one down, and let's talk about these definitions for a minute. Why are these definitions important? Think about in your books right now. Do we have justice in the distribution? Do we have a fairness in the terms or distribution? Do we have a fairness in the terms of the distribution of wealth? Everyone having the same things, the same opportunities and privileges? I think we can all say a resounding no. In our books, that is not what is occurring. In fact, there is clear injustice in our books. Okay? We want to understand that because we need to begin to identify what those issues are, what those problems are, what those injustices are. Okay? We also want to talk about empathy and sympathy. We want to learn how to relate to our characters. Sympathy is when you can kind of understand and feel sorry that someone's going through something. You might feel sympathy when you hear that someone has cancer, because you don't really know what that feels like, but you definitely can relate to that being a sorrowful or misfortunate event. Empathy is when you can actually understand, you have the ability to share those feelings. So, for example, if someone said to me that they had cancer, I would be able to empathize with them because I have also had cancer and I know what it's like to go through chemotherapy and lose all your hair and have your fingernails fall off. So I can actually, them telling me that it brings up the feelings that I had when I had cancer. So I am able to empathize with them. Okay? Not that sympathy is better or worse, or empathy is better than worse than the other. It's just different. Okay? We want to be able to empathize or get as close to empathy as we can with our characters. So we want to think about times when we've experienced something that's unfair. All right? So I want you to go ahead and pause and finish taking any notes that you didn't at this time. All right? So these definitions relate to our note-taking process. Now, I want to go through this process again because I think that we can always improve on what we're doing, and I'm going to hold you to an even higher standard this time when you do your homework. So for our note-taking process, the first thing we want to do is we need to take notes while you're reading. I want you to look at your homework from last night and look and see, did you simply do the fact, application, and my thoughts? Or did you actually take notes while you were reading? Did you take notes while you were reading and leave out the process of application, of fact, application, my thoughts? All right, look at what you did. You need to take notes while reading. That means you may need to flip the page, write down in bubbles or bullets or whatever. You need to write down what's going on in your text. Get a good 30 pages in, 20, 30 pages, and take notes about it. Now this time, while you're taking notes, I want you to notice when you see something that has to do with one of our definitions. So if you see an injustice occurring, or if you see a lack of or a need for more social justice, if you can sympathize or empathize with your characters, what you're going to do is while you're taking your notes, you're going to make your little bubble right next to it and put empathy. Or maybe you underline it in red or however you want to color code it. But you need to note, okay, adding notes for terms listed above. Okay, so you're going to take notes, adding empathy, sympathy, justice, social justice, injustice. Adding little bubbles next to them. You don't have to write anything about it. Just make a tag. It's kind of like tagging something or liking something. You're going to make a little tag next to it and put sympathy on there or empathy or whatever it is that you're seeing. Okay, so we're going to take notes while reading, adding our terms from above when they occur. We're going to pick something from the reading to focus on. Okay, so you've taken all these notes. What are you going to focus on? Once you pick that thing, you're going to do your process. What was the process? Remember from last class, we took it down. We said the process is fact, something you've learned during an event, application, how does it apply, and your own thoughts. How do you feel about it? Okay? So one more time, here is your assignment for today. You're going to read a nice big chunk and take notes at the same time. However you want to do that. You're going to read a good 20, 30 pages. Okay, and you're going to take notes on it. 1, 2, 3 pages of notes, whatever it takes. Okay, after you're done taking those notes, you're going to go back and you're going to read what you wrote. You're going to flip the page over and you're going to do fact, application, and your own thoughts from one of the things that you wrote down while you were taking notes. What am I going to grade you on next time? I'm going to grade you on, did you take notes? Did you tag the empathy, sympathy, injustice, justice, and social justice that is occurring in your book? Did you pick something to focus on, and did you write it up? I'm going to look at those 3 things, okay? All right, guys, so now what you need to do is you need to find a nice quiet spot. Make sure you have all of this written down on page 19. Key terms to know, definitions, note-taking process. Have that all written down, okay? And then you are ready to begin. We're going to flip our page over. We're going to say page 20, March 19th reading entry, the title of your book. Go ahead and find a nice spot and begin. Remember, you're going to be totally quiet so the sub doesn't have to take down your name. I know you guys know how to behave. Thanks, guys. I will see you on Thursday. Have a great day.